them dudes don't play. So there was this one CO, and it's a legendary story, right? Or it's probably a few of them, but they say have the black baby, right, tattooed on their arm with a noose around the baby's neck. That was they tattoo, and they wear cut off shorts or cut off shirts so you can see it. You know what I'm saying? So like, so even when you go to Ulster, right? So when I went to Ulster, you go to reception, right? So you supposed to get your hair, you know, they cut your hair, they have a religious purpose, and then after that, they put this fucking green slime on you, right? This shit burns, like that shit goes all down your body, shit burns. They screaming at you and that shit. This is our town, boy. We tell you right now, you be leaving this motherfucker fucked up, like all type of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed in Ulster, I want to say like 3 weeks. So I ended up going to Livingston. I think it was Livingston. Livingston is like about 8 hours from New York City. So it's pretty far for my people to visit. So, but it's an adult jail. And the reason why I went there, so at this time, New York was giving work release to even violent offenders at this time. So I thought that I was going to fall underneath that. And as soon as I get up north, they stop work release for violent offenders.
Damn.
So that's why I got sent to the jail, because that's what I thought. And then it came out with the law while I was in the fucking jail. It was going to stop work release. So I was there for like about 2 or 3 months because it wasn't no need for me to be there because I wasn't in the jail I was supposed to have been there. Right. So I was there and then I went to Gouverneur.
How was that?
Huh?
How was Gouverneur? I had a few subscribers ask about Gouverneur because nobody really speaks on that. People they haven't heard that story about Gouverneur. How was Gouverneur?
All right. Gouverneur, it was an adult jail, right? It can be chill, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a medium, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's super popping, but we had a riot in that jail. And it was like an all-out riot. So whereas, so it started over like a chain, and the brother got his chain taken, and there was some activity that's supposed to happen on the first go around, but they act like they squashed the beef and stuff like that. So there's always two go back for Rex. There's your early go back, and then there's the, you know, you got to go back into your thing. So everybody thought the beef was squashed on the first go back, so everybody broke out. But there was still a few affiliated gang members that was still around, and the guy that got his chain taken was still in the yard. So they waited till everybody left on that first go back, dude. And as soon as everybody left, they turned around, they started wilding on fam. So that's the reason why they stopped having the weights outside. We used to have weights outside in a lot of jails, meaning like it was free. Like you was able to just work out with no problem. You know, now you probably got to give an ID, stuff like that. But of course, it was a little bit more freer. So they took one of the 45. So after they beat dude up, got him on the floor, they took one of the 45-pound plates and started smashing his head.
Damn.
45 pounds with that 45. That riot, that shit was nothing. Like, niggas was jumping out of windows. Niggas was chasing a captain down with a fucking bat to the box, yo. Like
what two gangs was it?
It was the Latin Kings against the what. I mean, I don't want to consider them a gang, but the 5%ers. They're not really. I mean, you can consider them a gang. You know, it depends. Like, you know, it depends on how you look at it. Godbody, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of them. So obviously, if you pop off on one Godbody, what do you think the other Godbody is not going to just stand? They're going to pop off too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what them two gang, you know, was about. So after that, after the riot, like I said, that shit was crazy. The fucking Orange Crush came in there. So these dudes don't have no names on they name tag. It's just a number, man. It's coming to hurt, man. They're coming to hurt people, man. I mean, so then after that, like about a few months later, I was still under 21. I was like maybe 19 at this time. So anybody that was under 21, we had to go to the adolescent jail. So now,
Which I got a feeling you're talking about the one that start with a C, but go ahead.
Well, there's a few of them. So there's a few. I've been to 3 adolescents, but kind of a backstory. Nah, I don't want to do that. I was going to say about this one rapper that was in there. I don't
Go
want to
ahead.
do that to him. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna say his name.
All right.
But while the riot, rumor has it, I wasn't in the dorm, but rumor has it, while the riot was happening, this particular rapper was underneath a bed. So I'm just gonna leave that like that. Leave that like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, so
you under 21. Okay.
All right, so I'm under 21, and so now there's two adolescent mediums. There's one called Green, and there's one called Washington. Washington is the more laid back adolescent medium. Green is the one that's happening. So my luck of the draw, I goes to Green.
Oh, I heard about
Right?
Green.
So you know, so at this time when I was a governor, I had a banger that I made out of a mop handle because I used to work on house gang. So I actually made a banger out the mop handle, and I kind of broke it off and I sharpened it and shit. So I couldn't take that because that shit was too big. So obviously, you know, I had to get the razor. I already knew Green. Like I'm not gonna have time to go and try to get a razor. Like I'm gonna have to bring it with me. So you know, I had to boof one. You know what I'm saying? So I bring it with me down to the Green. So now I guess the Green. It's different, man. It's, you know, a lot of people use on the island within the full building are going to be in Green. Most likely. So a lot of people that I had issues with, you know, particularly, you know, the Latin Kings, there was this one particular guy that I guess he still felt some type of way. And you know, and I can understand, you know what I'm saying? He probably felt like I did him dirty or whatever. Like, I get it. You know, I understand. You know, I probably would have did the same thing too. You know what I mean? But so I'm in the yard. It had to be probably my second day, man. I'm in the yard. So I'm chilling by the phone. And mind you, there's a few of my homeboys in there, but they on the old side. I'm stuck on the new side. So there was two sides to Green. So I'm on the new side, I'm in the yard. So I'm by the phones and shit. And you just see, I'm talking about, yo, there had to be groups of people, right? And they starting to walk, right? So I'm there at the phone, right? And I'm chilling and shit like that, you know. My back is against like this little hut shit. I'm just there, I'm looking at shit. And I just see, yo, I kid you not, yo, I think it had to be about 50 people.
Dang, no,
It had to be,
damn.
Yo, it had to be about 50 people, right? So they come in my way in waves. So now, you know, my heart, I ain't gonna lie, yo, I'm scared to death. Like, you don't know if you're gonna die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I just don't know. So only thing I said, well, look, listen, man, I got my razor. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just gonna try to take one dude with me. That's it. That's all I can do at that point. I'm not no fucking Superman. You know what I mean? So they're coming my way, they're coming closer, and you see dudes getting rowdied up. You see these dudes getting hyped. You know, I'm just like, yo, I see my life before my eyes. So as they're getting closer, one of the dudes that was in the front, I see him squint because he's wearing glasses. So I see him like this. He like, yo, hold on for a second. He like, yo, man. I was like, yo, what's good? Yo, I was hyped. I was like, yo, what's good? Because I know, so this is the person that I played football with as kids in the street. So he went to jail in DFY, which is for juveniles. He was away for a while, so I ain't seen him in a while. So he's dead. He's like a third crown, right? He's like he holds weight. So he see me like, oh, wait a minute. He was like, oh, that's my dude. So he talked to me. So I'm telling him, you know, what happened, what transpired. You know, he's like, nah, fuck that, man. Ain't nobody gonna touch you. Yo, fuck that. Right? So the nigga that was there, yo, he was pissed. So he's like, yo, fuck that. He was like, so what? So you want to fight him? Nah, we supposed to fucking take his head off. Like, this nigga really was mad. You know what I mean? I can't blame him. Like, if we wanted to, we could have shot the fair one. If you really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like nobody jumped you. You could have shot the fair one with me. You know what I'm saying? So, but while that was happening, they had the green light to rob me of all my property, like my whole locker. So, you know, when you're in there and they took everything. I had like all types of, like, I don't eat seafood, but I used to juggle Jack Mac and you know what I mean? Like, I had my locker was filled. I had my fucking Reebok Classics. I had 2 pairs of those. I had another Army field jacket that was in my locker. And when I came back, my locker was open and when everything was gone. Gone. So I'm looking around. You see dudes like kind of like. So I said, all right, so I waited till I see my man again. I said, yo, bro, man, like your bros just straight robbed me, man. I know they did, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause they looking at me funny, man. Yo, like he like, yo, I got that. Yo, and by the time I got back to the dorm, nigga, all my shit was back in that motherfucker.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? And luckily, but that's what I mean is that when you know people from the street, it can make their time so much easier because they hold their weight in there probably, you know, most likely. And you coming in there, you might not have to put in all that work. You know what I mean? Or get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you know, at this point, I still didn't trust them. You know, we in jail. I'm not. You ain't gonna rock me to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still walking around. I'm still walking around with my razor with my gun. So I was supposed to meet my man in the gym. So I had my, you know, I had my gun in my pocket. So I'm going to the gym, and I forgot that they be fucking with the fucking, you know, warning people with the fucking metal detector, hand detector shit. And sure enough, there were these two police that we called them that Batman and Robin. Like these niggas was like, they'll find any banger, they'll find like these niggas was just fine shit, yo. And they was in there, and I'm like, fuck, man. And they fucking rang me, and that shit rang, and they pulled that shit out, found the razor. Niggas took me into the box. Now, when you in the box, your classification changes. And a Chris from green is coxsackie, which is the max for adolescents.
My cousins were there, yeah.
So now I ended up in the cat and key block, right? So I guess there I had 6 months key block. 6 months turned into about 13 months.
Damn.
Me in key block. And there was I had got jumped in the cages. So like when you when you're in key block, right? And you go to rec, you only get rec 1 hour a day. So when you get into these cages, they will let 6 people in the cage, and then they'll click the thing. Like so when you first go into the cage, so first time you come out your cell and keep block, your hands got to be in your pocket. So I caught a ticket for that because I wasn't used to that shit. Like everywhere you go, your hands got to be in your pocket. And I took my hands out my pocket. To them, that's like I'm being aggressive to them. So I got 2 extra days for that. Anyway, so you know, come on, you know, walking out my thing, and at first it was supposed to have been like a one-on-one confrontation, but it didn't turn out that way.
What for though? I'm saying like, what was y'all fighting for?
So it was so put like this so like if you don't rock like that, they'll try to take your ice cream. They'll like anything that they feel like that's value.
This is the gang you're talking about. This is the gang.
Yeah, this is the gang. Well, yeah, actually they was gangs. So yeah, he was a gang. So he took my ice cream, right? So I'm like, yo, where my ice cream at? And he's like, fuck your ice cream, nigga. Fuck you talking about? You don't rock like that. I'm like, yo, you fucking serious, man? Like, are you kidding me, man? So I'm like, you know what, man? I'm going outside tomorrow, man. He's like, yo, were you serious? Fuck that. I'm gonna go outside too. Like, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared because you know he's a bigger nigga too. You know what I mean? So I'm a little nervous. And so whenever you supposed to fight somebody on a one-on-one, right? Everybody's supposed to fall back and only supposed to be the 2 individuals in the cage so nobody's getting jumped. That's what I thought was going to happen, but that wasn't the case. So when my gate opened, other gates opened behind me. And I'm like, oh man, I already know what this shit's gonna turn out to be, yo. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, fuck it. I mean, what the fuck I'm gonna do at this point? Like, there's nothing I can do. So I go to the cages. When you first come to the cages, everybody gotta put their hands on the gate. Once all 6 people is in the cage, then they tap the cage and everybody can be in the cage for an hour talking, smoking cigarettes or whatever. So obviously when we took our hands off the cage, you know, we started fighting. You know, so we tussling, you know, we throwing punches, and next thing you know, niggas started jumping me. And mind you, it's like a hot ass day. It's like 100 degrees outside, yo. So in the fighting, the heat, y'all ended up fucking like catching a heat stroke and shit like that. They had to like take me because that shit was just, you know, that dramatics and it's hot. You know, that shit was just crazy. You know what I mean? So after that, I came back. You know, after that, you know, niggas fuck with me now. You know, because I got jumped. I didn't go there. I didn't tell them, yo, you jumped me, this and that. You know, I took it as a man. You know what I mean? And then I did my little 13 months in there, and now I went into population. Population is a little different. Obviously, shit's popping off. it's max. Like, you know what I mean? Like niggas could die in there. Like it's real like that. You know what I mean? But as long as you mind your business, you know, and you're not really like starting trouble. Like I'm not a troublemaker. Even my whole life, like when I was growing up, you know, a lot of time when I started our little crew, it's because people picked on us. So I never was big on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? Like I know how I felt to get bullied when we was younger. When they'll come up the block and take our bike, cut my coat. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why the gangs formed because that's why I started, you know, my own clique when I was in the street. So I understand the mentality. But when you're in doing them things, right? When you're a gang member, if you're saying that, you should be living that, not sitting there using it for your advantage, not using it to get stuff from people. But anyway, so I'm going on sideways. My bad, yo.
So listen, so okay, so you came out of Keep Lock, you went in, you got the time, you went into population at Coxsackie. Did you have any problems in population at Coxsackie? What was going on at Coxsackie at the time you were there? What gangs was on the main line at that time?
Oh, I mean, the Bloods, man. So, I mean, the Max is different, man. There's like 30 gangs in the Max, man. No lie, man. You got like a Buffalo crew. You have a Rochester crew. You'll have Bloods, obviously, Land Kings, the Latin Knights, the Nietas, the La Familias, the Muslims, the Christian Brothers. I mean, you name it, there's nothing but gangs in there, however way you slice it. You know what I mean? You know, and some of the things that was happening in the Cat, I'm actually not too fond of it. So when I came out, I ended up going to the industry dorm. Industry dorm is where we make t-shirts, boxes. You know, it's like a higher paying job in prison. So I was in there. But there was dorms that I was hearing some crazy shit. Like, so police will have inmates cut another inmate. Like they'll come to the inmate and be like, look, I don't like such and such, let's get him out the house. And give them a fucking razor, and they go and they cut the inmate bring the fucking razor back to the police, and the police get, so now when the squad come in, they think the dude just got beat up and they only go to the Keep Block for 60 or 90 days.
Okay.
You know, like that's like that. Like to me, that's cool. Like, what are you cutting somebody else for police for? You think they give a fuck about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you really think they care? Nah, they don't give two fucks about you. You know what I'm saying? And that was like, that's why I really stayed to myself, yo. Because like shit that I seen like that, and obviously shit was popping off, man. Like niggas was getting banged out in there. But again, you know what I'm saying? I was in like the industry dorm, so it's a little different. Like we're more focused on like just working. You know, there's still be fights in there, but I was like gambling in there, playing like the over and unders on football games. At one point they called me Ted. They called me Ted Zokoff because they act like I was Ted Brokoff because I knew every single sport and all the players. Like, you know, so that was my way of making my bed easier, like connecting with people about stuff that they like. You know what I mean? We talk about sports. That's when I was able to talk about sports, like, you know what I mean? We play casino spades. You know what I mean?
And that leads into my next question. What I was going to ask you on my list, like you say you went to the industry, because we hear a lot about the violence and stuff that goes on and the corruption with the guards and stuff. But my whole question is, man, because I know in other states they do it, like Florida, they do this, but in New York, like what trades do they have for y'all that y'all can use when y'all get home? Like what was you learning in the industries doing that you can use when you get home?
Sewing. I mean, now don't get me wrong. That's in the maxes though. There's trades and stuff in the max. Like I completed my floor covering trade when I was in Governor, so I was able to put tiles down, carpet down, and stuff. But the thing about with that is that once you finish the trade, if you still got a lot of time, you might not have the time to work on your craft. So now by the time you come home, you forgot how to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that will happen to me. Like I did floor covering. I finished it like in '96. I came home 2000. I didn't do anything, and I just worked the mess hall. It wasn't like no job that when I learned from the trade. They learn the trade, but that's because they want to get that federal money from the feds. So they had trades in there. They'll trade. Yeah, sure. They'll have you do it for like 6-8 months. You got certificate. They're not giving you no job to do no floor permits, and not, you just did it for parole board or whatever. You know what I mean? But I mean, oh man.
What was this? What I want to know. What was your mindset like when you was getting ready to come home? When you was getting close to your release date, what was your mindset? Was your mindset like, okay, I'm gonna get out here and do the right thing, man? Or was your mindset, as soon as I get out, I'm running the bag up by any means? What was your mindset?
I think for me it was a little different because I was already changing before I caught that bid, but just did one stupid night cost me all that time. So I was already in the process of changing myself. But the thing about in there, you can't wait until the day you come home to change. You're not going to change. You have to change while you in there. So for me, right, like, I mean, I just had my GED and I didn't have no college. I only had that one trade. So I knew for me, I had to do, if I figured it like this, any job that I get, I'm gonna work super hard on it, whatever job. If it's a McDonald's job or anything like that, I'm gonna just go in there and just do what I gotta do. And and I was kind of blessed when I came home because I had a job 6 days later. So somebody in my mom's building, plugged me into her job, and the rest was history. I made supervisor there. I left that company. Well, actually, I put a violation. So.
Oh, you did? Okay. So, okay. So real quick, though, we were speaking about job. You're going right every time you go into something, that's what I was going to talk about next. Speaking of jobs and stuff, I hear a lot of people, they come home from doing a lot of time, and they're like, man, these people just kicked me out to the streets. They set me up to fail. My question is, when you came home, did they have some kind of job placement program for you to succeed? No. They did not? It was nobody that was like, hey, listen, when you get home, go see Mrs. Bonnie. She can get you a job. Here go the paperwork for it. Like, it doesn't work like that?
Well, put it like this. So it depends, right? So they'll have these outpatient programs, right, that they'll send you to. But again, it's all about money. They're not there to really help you. Yeah, the information could be good, right? But if you got somebody that just did 20 years in prison, you have to really work on them. Like, it's not easy for them. You know what I'm saying? And the job placement is not there unless if you go to your local unemployment office and tell them that. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, there's not like somebody there guiding you. You kind of gotta, that's why you have to make that plan in jail, man. Like, you gotta say to yourself, yo, I don't want to come back, yo. Like, you gotta look at your surroundings. Like, do you really want to be like that? And there's some people that I got homeboys that's like that just love prison. They just can't stop going to prison. But damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, for me, man, I was blessed. I had a neighbor in the building that, plugged me in, and I just went from there, man. But
are you still doing it now? With the neighbor plugged you in with that occupation, are you still in that same field? Did you move up? How'd that work?
So when I went into, it was a company called Timmy's World Coffee. So, like I said, I had no real skills, like my pops wasn't around when I was younger. So I didn't know how to use my hands to build stuff, but I knew that I was good with people because I was tutoring people while I was in there, stuff like that. So I know I was good with people. And she was like, I work at a coffee shop. There are people. I said, man, that's a walk in the park for me. You know what I mean? So like I said, I was in there and, I worked supervisor. And like I said, I caught the violation for dirty urine. Because, I love to smoke, man. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I've been smoking since 87. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I caught the violation. I did 6 months. So what happened with that was you can either, if you're a violent offender, you either can do this program called Will It, which is a boot camp, or you can do the 2 years. 3 months. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, even though the boot camp can be a mental thing, but I give it up to the boot camp because the boot camp taught me discipline, and it taught me to just appreciate all the little things. Because in the boot camp, you don't have commissary. The only thing you go buy is pens and paper.
Okay.
There's no, you know what I mean? Like, there's none of that there. So now when you come out here, you appreciate a pen or paper, or even if you get $1. You know what I mean? And yeah, I did that. Like some people have a hard time with it. You know me, the biggest thing for me was the physical part, obviously, because you gotta be ready to run miles, you gotta do all this formation. But once I about 3, 4 weeks, a month of that, man, I started getting a physical part. Everything else is just mental, man. If you let them break you, then that's on you, man. Like they'll have you hugging trees for hours. I used to laugh at them. You
Yep.
don't they have you running with a big razor. Like, all
Yep.
right, I'll do all that shit. I mean, what? That's not going to damage my image. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I came home from that. So mind you, when I came home, that was around when the World Trade got what happened. So the city was a little chaotic. I didn't really pay attention to that. I'm not saying I didn't know what was happening, but I was just focused on myself. Like I
Right.
said, yo, I gotta come out here. I know what's going on in the world, but if I'm gonna focus on me, I can't help the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I was going to like a hire agency where they'll just hire you on this, like you do certain jobs, get paid like minimum wage. I actually enjoyed that shit because I learned able to do different things because I went to a liquor warehouse. I went to like a lumber warehouse, like like shit like that. So I learned different things. So I actually liked that shit. And then I had an old connect um from Timothy's because we had got closed down. And and they actually gave my job back when I came home from parole. That's how much of an impact that I made. That's how much
Wow.
impact they gave my job back, same position and everything. And the first day that I was going to work, and I put my key in, and the shit didn't work. So I thought there was like, yo, they playing around. And I looked up, and there was a paper that was on the door, and it said, all employees report to 75 Water Street. Yo, when I get down there, yo, I see hundreds of the Timothy's employees all lost their job. I'm like, yo, how you get fired on your first day? Like
Damn.
really, and I didn't even do anything.
Damn. That's a crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I ended up in the hiring of the hiring agency, and it was giving me jobs. And like I said, somebody that was in there with me, Timothy's, was in Starbucks, and he knew my work. Like he knew what I get down. He put in a good word for me, and I give it. Thank you, Dutch. If you ever get across this, I appreciate you, my man, and Annette too for giving me my first job when I came home. You know what I mean? But yeah. So he got me plugged in. After that, I was like 8 months as a barista, became supervisor. A supervisor for like a year. After that, I became assistant manager. Then I became an actual general store manager of several locations throughout my time. So I was in Starbucks for like 15 years.
Dang, bro. Salute, man. Wow.
Unfortunately, they let me go because this whole yeah. So what happened was that the store that I just had, when I got to that store was in a red already, right? And they did a renovation, and that renovation like $500,000, and then the COVID shit happened, right? And then the stores is already in the red. Now you can't have no customers because my store had like big tables for people to sit down, but now nobody can sit. That was like the base because I was by Columbia University, New York. So that's all I got with students that come in there to do their homework, stock market people. So if I don't have that, the store wasn't gonna make no money. So they decided to close the store. When they closed the store, they let go of me and all my employees.
Mm.
You know?
Damn.
Yeah, so that just happened in like June. So yeah, damn, time flies, man.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up getting on the YouTube, man. And I was never a social media person before doing all this. You know what I'm saying? But I actually kind of like it now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And listen, hit that like and subscribe button, man. It's easy win right here with my boy Lyte from the iTalk show, the If They Only Knew show. I got one more question before we close this one down. And I'm going to put in the link. I'm going to pin everything in the comments. I'm going to put the link to a show in the comments. Y'all make sure y'all go like and subscribe, man. I got this one more question before we close. This interview was effing fire. I'm telling you, bro, I didn't have to do nothing. You got your own show, so you know how to go into different timelines and stuff. You did.
But you know, but also too, you know, for the viewers that might not know, we always vibe before we record. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's a thing that a lot of YouTubers should do instead of treating the person like a business deal, right? You know, connect with them before, you know, recording, you know, kick it with them, see how they doing, you know, get that vibe going. If you just sitting there and you start recording, I'm just like,
Right, bro. I start mingling.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then it's gonna take time to break the ice. But you see, once you ask me that one question, that was it because we already was vibing before that.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact. So, all right, it's the last question. Do you think that prison has an effect on you mentally, being that you're in the civilian world now? What do you think is the biggest effect prison had on you mentally, being that you're back in the regular world now?
A lot of things, man. You know,
think about prison.
I mean, I definitely got PTSD, bipolar depression, anger. I mean, yeah, I mean the things you see in there, man, like it's not, you have to be an animal to enjoy that shit. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have an animal mentality. Like you just don't give a fuck about people. You know what I mean? And you know, like the stuff that I got my ass whipped in there. I probably took more losses than I did wins. You know what I mean? And I'll be the first. And that's why, you know, my dudes, they fuck with me because I'm honest, man. You know what I mean? Like I took a lot of losses in my time, dude. You know, you gotta be a man to be able to say that. You know what I mean? But I can definitely tell you it was hard. And I didn't know what I had. I just knew that I was locked up and I just had anger issues. I didn't know about the bipolar depression, about the PTSD. Like every time I get shot, you know, it's either that shit's normal to me. Like a nigga could die right in front of me. And I just like that shit's normal to me. Yo, like that shit is like, you know, that shit is nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but once I had my youngest son, so when I had my youngest son and when he was diagnosed with the autism, that's what made me really dig into myself. You know what I mean? To really look back and to go into history and to see family members, you know, like just everything, man. You know what I mean? And you know, yeah, I mean, I wish, you know, like a lot of people that come home, right? They supposed to get disability. That's number one, because you're disabled. Like you got PTSD. A lot of us gonna develop or we have bipolar, but being in prison made it come out. You know what I mean? Whereas you bipolar depression, like you supposed to help us. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to stick you, you know, to cross us the street and to give us no, but give us a starting point. Like you say, like there's no starting point. There's no money for them, right? Like they coming home to no bread. Like when I came home, only one person came and gave me bread, and that was my son Whip Wop. Other than that, I ain't getting nothing from nobody else. So you know what I mean? So like you said, like they gotta be not just helping people with employment, but helping them mentally come in. And not send them to no AA meetings, not send them to no, because that's for people that's on, not everybody uses drugs. Not everybody also don't send them to those groups. You know, sit down and have an actual person that was locked up. Maybe they can help them get jobs, right? You know, like places like that, like they do, but they in drug programs. And not everybody can get into a drug because they don't have the drugs on their record. I mean, I do, but other people might not.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? And I always tell people too, man, there's also people, places, and things. You know what I mean? Like for me, that was a big thing for me, like being around people, being in certain places and liking certain things. You know what I mean? Like anytime I was around people, they know how I used to click, especially when I came home. You know, they already know I ain't playing around. Like you trying to kill me, I'm gonna kill you first.
Right.
I mean, I got a family now. You know, I'm not gonna let you harm me or hurt me. You can say what you want. You, as long as you don't step and you try to hurt me or my loved ones, you know what I'm saying, or anybody who I fuck with. And you know, some people prey on that. You know what I'm saying? They know that I'm a pop off. You know, there was times that I was on parole, right, and because of my bipolar, PTSD, whatever you want to call it clouds your thinking. So you just thinking, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like popping off. I'm on parole and I'm popping off. It's like 2 a.m. and we having a fight on 42nd Street and I get arrested. Nobody else is on parole except for me. You know what I'm saying? And police made it known that they knew I was on parole. And thank God that, I guess, I don't know, they probably forgot to tell my PO. I don't know what happened, but thank God that my PO didn't find out about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's a real thing. Like, people need to understand it's not just PTSD, especially if it's an army thing. Because when you're locked up, you at war too.
That's a fact.
Like, your head is on a swivel all day long. All day. And for somebody like me, like I said, I don't got the typical hardcore phase. I ain't had the typical build. I ain't know people in there, so my shit was rough. You know what I'm saying? But thank God I was able to make it out. You know what I mean? I'm able to help others. You know what I'm saying? Tell them, teach them. Because I tell my kids, my oldest son is going to be 22 in another like 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And I tell them, look, man, anything you did, I did that time for you already. You ain't got to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We're going to end on that. This is part 1. Easy win. Florida Prison Talk. My boy Lyte. I talk. If they only knew. Hit that like and subscribe. Signing out. You got anything you want to say before we go?
I want to give a shout out to all my people in New York. Stand up. I love y'all. Everybody that was on our channel. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And make sure y'all tune in to our March Rapness, man. Like, this is gonna be epic. You know what I'm saying?
I want to get in that.
Yo, stop playing. Listen, and I just want to make it. And I want to make it known that me and my man Joe is not getting paid for this. So the entry fees that are coming to us, it goes to a pot for the winner to take home. So, we got another week. We got another week and change left to the battle. So, like I said, please, man, like, I think this is going to be it, man. We're going to change music, man.
Send me the link so I can put it in the community, in a community post for the subscribers. Send me the link. But I want to get in there too. All right?
All right, definitely.
All right, salute.